Hey friends, it's Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and today's video is something that you guys have been requesting for a while. You know that I share a lot about our own homegrown food here and how I preserve it and make meals from it. I share a lot of the bulk food that we purchase from Azure Standard, but I have never shown you where the rest of our grocery budget goes, and that is to several different local stores. So in our town, the places that I like to shop are Aldi, Walmart, and Sam's Club. We do not have a Costco anywhere near us. I think the closest one is about 90 minutes away. So I don't shop there. I do most of my shopping from the three places that I mentioned. And so today I thought I would show you my favorite items to purchase from there. My budget for a month's worth of groceries is typically around $1,000. Although I would say in the last couple months it's maybe been up closer to $1,200. Just with inflation and the price of food getting higher. So I'm going to show you today a haul from Aldi and Walmart. Now, typically, I don't shop at them very often. It might be once every other month that I'll go to these places. The majority of the foods that I get from these places are like convenience items, things that I like to keep in stock just in case we're having a week where we're really busy and I don't get a chance to make these items from scratch. Or if we're going somewhere and I want to have some special treats and things for the kids. So that's why I don't shop these places frequently. Like I said, it's maybe once every other month. Why don't I go ahead and show you the items that I got today? All right, we'll start at Walmart. So everything from here kind of over was from Walmart. It wasn't very much that I got there today. I'll start with these. These are dairy-free yogurts. They're made with coconut milk, and I've shown you how I make my own yogurt a lot of the times, but there are just days where I don't get around to doing that, and so I like to have some of these in storage. They last not very long. Like these need to be eaten up here within about the next 5 days, but thankfully one meal here for my kids will use 3 of these. So this will just be 2 breakfasts that we'll have this week at some point. The reason I don't do this very often is that these are so expensive. One of these containers is like a little bit over $5. So you're looking at a $15 breakfast. And for $15, I can make a way bigger breakfast for my kids. But just to kind of change things up every now and then, I will purchase some of this. And so this is the favorite coconut milk brand that we get at the store, the vanilla kind. Just got a fresh pineapple. I try to give my kids pineapple every now and then. It's supposed to be really good for their gut health, and so that is why we do that. I got 20 pounds of organic cane sugar from Walmart. Sometimes it's a better deal to get it at Walmart. Sometimes it's a better price at Aldi. It's something that I try to not purchase from Azure Standard anymore because it's just much cheaper at these 2 places. The only thing that stinks is that it comes in plastic when you get it from Walmart or Aldi versus if I got it from Azure, it would come in cardboard. So that is kind of the trade-off. Back here, I got some corn tortillas. I've shown you guys in videos before how I make my own tortillas, but every now and then I get busy and the kids are in charge of doing our taco or burrito night, and so I just want to have some of these on hand to make it easier for them, or even for myself if I'm having a day where I'm running behind and I don't have a chance to make them from scratch. I've got this kind because they're made with non-GMO corn, just a little healthier alternative than some of the other corn tortillas that I saw. Okay, I have shown you guys in many videos how I make my own mayonnaise from several ingredients. But we have the holidays coming up, and I am in charge of making some veggie dips and other items for family members who might not be comfortable eating my homemade mayonnaise because it uses raw egg, and not everybody wants to eat raw eggs. So this is the soy-free mayonnaise that I like to purchase. It's made with avocado oil, and I get it at Walmart. I don't love all of the ingredients. It does have that EDTA preservative in it, but otherwise it's pretty clean. And so since I only use this really when I'm making food for other people who might not be comfortable with my homemade mayonnaise. I just get this a couple times a year, keep it in storage, and use it for those purposes. This is another one. It is not the healthiest. This taco sauce has probably all sorts of stuff. I don't even want to know what is in it, but my family loves it. I have tried to make homemade taco sauces before, and they just don't compare. So for now, we get this junky taco sauce. It's a treat. It's just a condiment, so I am okay with that. Okay, I got a selection of dry cereals. Dry cereal is something that I rarely purchase for my family. Like I said, I'll go to Walmart or Aldi maybe once every couple months, and I'll just buy a couple of these, and we will go through in one breakfast 2 boxes of this. So this will only be 2 breakfasts. And the reason why I don't do this very often is that my kids just don't stay full on this. It's just a lot of carbs and sugar, and they're going to end up hungry like 2 hours later. So for how much it costs, it's just not worth it. But it is a nice treat that the kids enjoy. I try to, when I purchase dried cereal, do some healthier organic options to make sure I'm not just filling them full of glyphosate. A lot of the cereals marketed towards children have really high levels of pesticides and insecticides and all sorts of junk in them. So organic is important to me when we're doing dry cereal. And then this is just a junk food purchase. My family likes these dill pickle chips. We don't do this very often, but if I'm going to the store, the girls were with me and they asked for them, and it is not going to hurt them to have this just one night with a meal of maybe homemade hamburgers or something like that. So I did get them these dill pickle chips. And that was everything from Walmart. Let me show you Aldi. Okay, starting over here, just 3 bunches of bananas. I have some kids that love bananas and some that absolutely loathe them, but I do try to keep several bunches of these in the house. This is one of those items that I will purchase every time we place an order, whether it's from Sam's Club or Walmart or Aldi. I will always get some bananas just because I know that several of the children will eat them up if they're in the house. You guys know I do like to do a lot of my own baking and will bake my own bread, but there just are days where that isn't going to happen. And so at Aldi, I purchased 3 loaves of bread here because I know we're coming up on a very busy weekend of traveling to see family members for the Thanksgiving holiday. And so having some bread for quick and easy sandwiches or breakfast toast and things like that, I thought would be nice. So I got this sprouted grain version. It's really hard for us to buy store-bought breads because a lot of them contain milk, but this one did not have milk and didn't really have too many questionable ingredients. There wasn't any soy in it or anything, so I felt good about that bread purchase. These are another one that I get from Aldi whenever I go. Like I said, I only go once every couple of months, and when I go, I'll grab a couple of packages of these, put them in the pantry, and just save them for maybe we have a homeschool outing and I didn't have a chance to make some homemade snacks to take with us. So I'll just throw these in my diaper bag so that the little ones will have a little snack while we're gone. It's just a treat, and they're not the healthiest thing. They are essentially like candy because they're just full of sugar. But the kids enjoy that treat every now and then, and they're a better option than some of the other ones that are out there. Okay, every time I go to Aldi, I get a case of ketchup. They're organic ketchup. This is the kind that I like to get. There's no high fructose corn syrup. It's organic, and compared to every other place, Aldi has the best price per ounce that I've found on ketchup, and it tastes amazing. So we always get a case of that. We'll just throw that in the pantry. I mean, my kids, we're at the point where we easily go through one of these a week. Easily. So, yep, there we go. Okay, I do make my own nut milks. I typically make cashew milk. We do a lot of coconut milk, all sorts of different kinds of dairy-free milk options. But once again, there might be a morning where I didn't get a chance to make some milk, and that's a step that takes me 10-15 minutes. And if I have the kids in charge of making a meal, or I don't have an extra 10 or 15 minutes available to make the milk before I need to use it, I just like to have some in the overflow fridge in the garage just as a backup to use. And so I just got 4 of these. They're the organic unsweetened ones, and yes, that is what we like to have. Now this is something I'm really excited about. This is my kids' favorite brand of dairy-free ice cream. It comes in vanilla, there is chocolate, and there is a mocha fudge. And these are all dairy-free, soy-free ice creams. Typically Aldi only carries them in the summer. When we went today, we found these cases. There was one more case there. I left it so that I didn't drain them out of all of them, but I did buy them because when we eat ice cream as a family, we will eat 3 of these in one sitting, and I wanted to make sure we had enough of this to get us through, you know, the holiday season, the rest of the year, and then anything that might not fit in the freezer, I will go ahead and freeze dry because we've been freeze drying ice cream, and it is delicious. Now, this ice cream from Aldi, for this little pint or whatever size it is only, I believe it's like $3.50, which is an amazing deal for dairy-free ice cream. I placed an order with Azure that I'm going to pick up tonight and bought some coconut milk ice cream that was $5 and some change per pint that's this same size. And so now I regret, because I bought 2 cases of that to have in storage, not knowing that Aldi would have this today. So we're going to have a lot of ice cream. The stuff that I got at Azure I'll show you later on, but we will freeze dry anything that we're not going to eat up before it goes bad, but I'm sure the children will have no problem eating all of this ice cream. Here's another little novelty item specifically for the small children. This is another one where I buy them when I go to Aldi and just throw them in the pantry. If we're having a day where I'm going to be out of the house, I'll just throw them in the diaper bag just as a treat for the little ones to have. It's not something I do all the time, but I do like that Aldi has these for pretty cheap, the organic kinds. And then speaking of juice, I just got 4 containers of organic orange juice to have in the overflow fridge to use here. This will last us, you know, the next month. We don't drink it that often, maybe once a week. We'll get this out and have it with a breakfast, or I'll make gummies with it, or popsicles, or whatever. We got some frozen vegetables. Aldi has the best price per ounce on some of these frozen vegetables like peas. If I went to Azure Standard and order this, I'm paying, you know, quite a significant amount more. So I have stopped buying a lot of my frozen vegetables like this from Azure. I get them from Aldi instead. Once again, the trade-off is that it comes in a bunch of these little packages versus at Azure I can get them in one big package and portion them out in something that's more reusable. But for the cost savings, like, this is worth it to me. Bunnies ate every single pea shoot that I planted this year, except for there were a couple plants of pods that were able to mature, and we ate the pea pods, but none of my shelling peas made it in the garden this year, so I'm having to purchase those. And then I always just like to have some of these bags of mixed vegetables, the organic mixed vegetables, on hand when I want to make a shepherd's pie or a chicken pot pie, or even if I want to can up some chicken soup here in the next month. Having these on hand are nice for those purposes. You know, for a typical meal for us, we will use like 3 of these bags. So it looks like a lot, but it really doesn't go far when you have 8 children. Aldi has a good price on this. This is the espresso that Adam's like. For our drip coffee, we go to a local place and we get whole beans and we grind it down, but Adam is a creature of habit. This is the kind of espresso that he's always drank and that he likes, and so I make sure to pick a couple of those up every time we go to Aldi and get those in storage. Another great thing that we get at Aldi are sardines. We make sure to get them in water. We prefer that over the oils And my children will eat like a whole can of this themselves. If we have a meal where they just want some extra protein or something, they'll grab a can of these and eat them up. It has so much calcium in sardines, which is why I try to encourage them to eat these. And Aldi has a great price. We have probably 50 cans of this in the pantry, but I just always try to purchase more whenever we go because they really like the Aldi brand of those. This is another one of my children's favorites. I'm sure there are healthier brands of it out there. This one does have nitrates in it, but this is the only version that they had at Aldi, and the kids wanted this coming up here in the next week for a snack spread that we were going to make, and so we went ahead and got 2 of those. We just slice it up and spread it on crackers and then put mustard on top of it, and it's a really easy lunch. Some salsa. I've told you guys before I can a lot of things, but salsa is just one of those things that my kids don't necessarily like the taste of my home canned salsa for like chips and snacking. So when I can salsa, it's mostly for cooking. Like if I want to pour a jar of salsa over the top of some chicken breasts or something that I'm going to cook. But home canned salsa, the flavor of it is just different than this commercially sold salsa, and my kids much prefer this. So I went ahead and got a couple of jars of that. These vegetables are for a veggie tray that I am making for Thanksgiving coming up. I have celery in the garden, and we have carrots and several other things, but I just needed some bell peppers and some little cherry tomatoes to put on the veggie tray for some color. So that is why I bought those. And these are just a treat for me. I don't get to eat a lot of the treats that I bake for the children or anything. I can't have gluten. I can't really, well, I can eat sugar. It doesn't hurt me in the way that gluten or soy does, but I try to avoid sugar. And these are just coconut sugar, cashews, cocoa powder, cassava flour, and sea salt. So these are the kind of thing where if I baked my family a cake or some cookies and I'm feeling left out, I'll grab some of these and it will satisfy my sweet cravings. A lot of you have asked that, like, what do you do when you bake for the family? Well, I try to keep something like this in the house for me that will satisfy those urges. All right, now I need to get this put away so that we can go pick up our Azure Standard order. All right, I just have the 4 little ones with me. Are you guys ready to go pick up an Azure order?
Yeah.
All right, let's hit the road. All right, we're back from picking up our Azure Standard order. I also picked up a Sam's Club order, and the table is full with that, so why don't I show you what we got from those places. So here is the table. We'll go ahead and start with Sam's Club. Sam's Club is the local place that I probably shop at the most frequently, just for some of these staples that I'm going to show you. This is distilled white vinegar. I use it in some of my cleaning and laundry and even in some of my canning and things. So I get that from Sam's Club. We were out of parchment paper and have some Thanksgiving baking to do, so I went ahead and got a couple things of parchment paper from Sam's Club. Sam's Club is where I get a lot of my household goods like trash bags and toilet paper, all sorts of things like that. I didn't need a lot of that today, but Sam's Club is where I would buy it, and I include those items in my grocery budget. This is purely a convenience item. This is not the healthiest lunch meat that there is out there. It is uncured, but Sam's Club has a really good price on it. We don't eat lunch meat sandwiches that often, but I do like to keep some in the overflow fridge to have just in the off chance that we need them for whatever reason. And one meal can typically use an entire container like this. So these 3 containers would only last me for maybe 3 lunches for the family. These veggies are all for a veggie tray that I'm putting together for Thanksgiving. I don't typically buy a lot of vegetables from local places because we grow so much and we preserve it for eating in the off season when things aren't growing. every once in a while, if Sam's Club has an organic vegetable like these green beans, I went ahead and got them. We have a lot of green beans preserved in other ways, but sometimes we just want some fresh. So I will pick them up every now and then. But these will all go on a veggie tray that I'm putting together for Adam's family's gathering. I got 4 jugs of olive oil. This is the olive oil that I get. We are dairy free, and so any baking recipe that I make that calls for melted butter, I will use regular olive oil in place of it. It says mild flavor on the front, and that is true. If I use extra virgin olive oil, it tends to have a heavy olive flavor that we don't prefer in the taste of our baked goods. So we will go through usually about a jug like this in 2 weeks. So that is why there's so much of this. This is, like 2 months worth. This should get us through the rest of the year. And I know someone's going to say, why don't you get organic for that? But I have the hardest time finding organic regular olive oil. I can find organic extra virgin very easily. Like Azure Standard doesn't even carry regular olive oil at all. And so I just have to go with what I can find. And since we go through so much of it, I just need to get it in bulk, and Sam's Club has a really good price on it. So that is why I get that there. And speaking of good prices at Sam's Club, maple syrup is the other item that I get the best price on it at Sam's Club. I got 4 of these. Typically in one pancake or waffle breakfast, we'll go through not the whole thing, but close to, there might be a third of this left. So we go through a lot of it. I have to keep it stocked up. We do have maple trees on our property, and we tap them. We didn't do it last year, but we have tapped our maple trees in other years. Maybe I'll do a video on that for you this year, since I won't have a little baby this January and February. That's something that I can give my attention to. So, all right, that is all of the Sam's Club order. Now I'm going to move on to Azure Standard. Okay, this month at Azure, I decided to get a 50-pound bag of this organic wheat flour. I know that my son's going to be doing a lot of baking for the holidays and things. I use wheat berries and grind them down fresh for a lot of the baking that I do, but he does not prefer to bake that way. So this bag will be for him for the rest of November and through December for all of the baking that he does. And this is our favorite type of flour that we get. It's organic. We love the quality of this. It bakes up really nicely. This whole container here is 33 pounds of palm fruit shortening. And I know how controversial palm fruit shortening is. We purchase this once every 2 or 2.5 years. I think the last time I purchased this was in December of 2021, and we are still working through that. But I was worried that we would run out of it sometime at the beginning of the year when I don't do grocery shopping, which is why I went ahead and got this. So it's a purchase we only make once every couple of years. Once again, we are dairy free, and we do use lard in some baking that will call for a fat that is solid at room temperature. Solid at room temperature. And there are some baking recipes where you just need that, like a pie crust or frosting and things that we make. And there's only so much leaf lard that comes on a pig that we can use for baking. When we run out of that, palm fruit shortening is what we use. It makes really good frostings for cakes. And I have a son who likes to bake cakes, and I need to have things that are a healthier option than maybe like a store-bought Crisco or something like that. And so I know there's controversy over palm fruit shortening, maybe environmentally, but this is what we purchase. I don't know if this means anything. It says it's sustainable. So I believe Azure tries to source items that are better for the environment than other alternatives, but we're doing what we can. All right, next item we got from Azure Standard is these 4 packages of gluten-free flour. I got these for holiday baking. I have a sister who has celiac disease, and I can't use my own grain mill to produce safe gluten-free flours for her, so I do need to purchase them. So I went ahead and got a box of these just to get down in our pantry. Now that we have food storage space in our cellar, I can go ahead and store these up so that I won't have to purchase little individual bags every time I want to bake for her. You get a better price on this when you purchase a whole box of them at once. I also got some canned salmon. We are trying to have fish once or twice a week. It's very expensive to feed a family of 10 fresh or frozen fish, so we try to do canned salmon and salmon patties at least once a week. Okay, I got a 5-pound bag of beef gelatin. This is the gelatin that I use to make my homemade gummies. I also use this to make marshmallow fluff, and we've been making gummies sometimes daily or every other day for the kids. Hot cocoa and marshmallow fluff season is now here. We will easily go through this 5-pound bag probably in the next 2 months, so I just needed to get stocked up on that. Also got 50 pounds of potatoes. They were a really good price when I got them from Azure. I know they had gotten up to like $65 for the 50 pounds at this time last year, and the prices have gone back down on potatoes, which is really nice. So all of the potatoes that I grew here on our homestead were canned up or frozen or put into stews and soups and things like that. So this is what we'll use for fresh eating here in the next couple months. I went ahead and got a case of organic mushrooms. These are for pizza toppings. Mushrooms are something that we haven't ventured into growing on our homestead yet. I would love to do that one of these days. There's only so many hours in the day, and I just haven't had the mental energy to start a new project. Hopefully next year that's something that we can do, but in the meantime, we buy canned mushrooms to put on our pizza. And in the past, I really haven't had the pantry space to buy them in bulk. I would just get a little can here and there from the local grocery store, but it's a better price getting these in bulk. And now that I have the cellar available, I can store up more of these and save money. So that's exciting. And then I also got a case of tomato paste, also to be used for pizzas when we run out of the tomato powder that I turn into paste that I preserved this year. This is like the ultimate convenience food. These are the hash browns that I always get. One breakfast, we'll usually use a couple bags of these. So I think only 12 came in here. It's only 6 breakfasts worth, but it's really nice to have. I wanted these for the upcoming December break where Adam's home from work and we sleep in a little bit. I wanted easy breakfast. So these are organic. The only ingredients in them are potatoes, which is wonderful because a lot of the hash browns you buy at the store will have like seed oils and lots of other questionable preservatives. These are just potatoes, which is why I love them so much. And then finally, I got these 2 cases of dairy-free ice cream. I mentioned this with my Aldi order. I only ordered these because I didn't think Aldi would still have our favorite brand in stock. But this, I got a vanilla bean and a mint chocolate chip. So that's nice because the Aldi brand doesn't sell mint chocolate chip, and a couple of my kids, that's their favorite. So even though each one of these containers is about $1.50 more expensive than the Aldi brand, it comes in flavors that Aldi doesn't sell, which will be nice. So we are stocked up on ice cream. We have enough ice cream in the house to last, I don't even know, like 4 months. But I will probably end up freeze drying some of this into little treats because the kids really enjoy that. All right, now it's time to get busy getting all of this stuff put away where it goes. I got downstairs and started organizing things and thought I'd show you this. This is another item I purchased from Sam's Club now. It is $4.48 per jar to order them from Sam's Club, but I have to do it online because my local store doesn't carry them. But if you're a Sam's Club member, you get free shipping. So that is a great deal on our Sun Butter, and that's another purchase that I recently made. As I mentioned earlier, I like to spend about $1,000 a month. Sometimes I've been going a little over lately due to inflation, but that $1,000 doesn't include our meat and eggs because those are things that we grow here on the homestead. It also doesn't include a lot of the homegrown food or home canned food that is in our pantry, obviously. but it does include household goods that are not necessarily groceries because we get a lot of that at these stores. So my total for this month, I spent $150 at Walmart, about $225 at Sam's Club, $550 at Azure Standard, and about $244 at Aldi. Now, some of those things like Azure Standard, I will not place an order for the month of December. So that amount is split over 2 months. So if I account for all of that, we spent $894, which leaves me a little more wiggle room for another probably Sam's Club trip for fresh food. I hope you enjoyed this peek into our grocery shopping. We'll be back next week with another kitchen work video. Bye, friends.